Hello everyone and Happy New Year. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at an article from the Epoch Times that was published on January 1st. Now, this is about stuff that should not be talked about on YouTube and other Silicon Valley supposed platforms because, they've declared, along with these elitists, what the results were and everything else, and there's nothing to see here, and you've got Dominion declaring as part of CISA that it was the most securest election ever, basically investigating themselves, and we're all just supposed to go, yep, nothing going on. It's all perfectly legit, all perfectly above board. Well, here's the thing. Look at the title here. Massive amounts of evidence will be presented on January 6th. Trump. Yeah. So this is what they did not want. Now, the thing is, you see, this is going to be a joint session of Congress. They go through this, they object, they get the hearing. Now, how can the legacy media justify not covering this at all? That right there, if they won't cover the congressional hearing over this, they won't put any time into this, as an American, they don't want you to see what's going to be presented. It's that simple. It really is. Now, this was written by Jack Phillips, so let's get into the article here. President Donald Trump announced that evidence of alleged election fraud will be presented on January 6th during the joint session of Congress. Yeah, this is what they do not want to happen. This is why why Cocaine Mitch wanted the Republicans to fall in line. They did not want this to happen. They wanted to be able to go back to business as usual. They didn't want Americans to be exposed to this that might not have got exposed to it otherwise. This is about, how do I put this? I'm trying to think of the right analogy. It's not quite trying to put the genie back in the bottle, but it's along those type of lines. Like, they want to put things back to the way they were before. They want to go back to how it was when they were all doing their graft and selling out the country and getting, bought and paid for by foreign interests and business interests and the like, and go back to bringing us towards this globalist future that they're all, being bought off for. Well, they think everyone's going to go back to sleep. It isn't going to work like that this time. All right. This isn't like 80s populism with Reagan and they just went, people that went along the Reagan lines, if anything, converted to Republican. No, the Republican Party converted to the party of Trump. It's different this time, and they don't realize that. Massive amount of evidence was presented on the 6th. We won big, Trump wrote on Twitter. It comes as Senator Josh Hawley, Republican Missouri, and about 40 House GOP lawmakers have announced they would challenge the Electoral College votes during the January 6th joint session of Congress due to alleged fraud and irregularities during the November 3rd election. The challenge could lead to several hours of debate during the session. And this is what they don't want. They don't want anything being presented. They don't want the arguments out there. All right. This was supposed to be, quick and easy. He'll concede. We're going to be shady and shifty and get away with it. And now they're realizing that might not be the case. Because the thing is they honestly expected this to be like the days of old where you allegedly steal an election, in theory, perfectly above the board. But, and some people might know, but they'll hold a grudge and just shit moves forward. Goes back to, they get away with it. They never expected Trump to be someone who, when it's a situation like this, he's not going to give up. If he was going to give up against these idiots, he would have done it a long ass time ago to make it stop. And he didn't do that. They keep underestimating the man. They keep looking at him and expecting something other than what they should expect. And it's so sad and pathetic. You think they would like realize that he's never going to play the game that they want to play. He's going to play it by his own rules. The challenge is supported by Trump, who in recent weeks has met with House lawmakers, including its chief sponsor, Rep. Mo Brooks, Republican Alabama, at the White House. Now, what's funny is you look at Hawley from Missouri and you look at him from Alabama. Trump is going right for where the heart of like his, the Trump voters tend to be. And the funny thing, like with Hawley, is, oh God, the marketing puke who ran Walmart's Twitter account acted like a complete spurg because it's just the sore loser type thing with Hawley. It was so sad. Well, you're gonna get your little hearing, and then like deal with it or something like that was basically the extent of it. It took a higher ranking marketing puke or someone who wasn't a marketing puke to realize that the heart of Walmart's business, the core of it, is red states, Trump-loving states. It happened to be Trump-loving states. And remove the tweet. I mean, these people are ridiculous. You've got Trump-deranged spurgs at Walmart even joining in on saying stupid things. I mean, come on now, people. Whatever happened to the days of when a business just sold you shit? They didn't get political. They didn't care what your politics were. They didn't care about any of that. They just sold you a product or a good, or some other, some type of good, maybe a service or whatever. I mean, that's how things should be. But you got Walmart giving Hawley a hard time. And then someone above the marketing puke realizing, might not be a good idea. So they deleted that as fast as they could, hoping that no one archived it, but people did. Trump advisor Jason Miller told Newsmax earlier in the week that the team is aiming to present more evidence. Well, that's the time to do it. I mean, legacy media are not going to cover this. They're going to like cut away. If they cut away from Congress on this, we're talking Congress, not Trump. They can't say, Trump did it. This is Congress debating this. If they cut away, it doesn't look good for them, no matter how they try to frame it. Because if what they're claiming, is true, then the hearing would only back them up. If they don't cover the hearing or they cut away from the hearing and they go nothing to see there, then it backs up the fact that they fear what's going to be said at that hearing. And it goes to show how much of a sham the last election was. Sorry, never mind. I'm being sarcastic with that because it was the bestest election ever, the most safest and securest election we've ever had in the name of mankind and the history of the United States and the world. Because that's what we were told. I mean, it's ridiculous. Anyway, let's get back to here. We will have a chance in front of the American people next week to present these cases. All of these evidences of fraud, Miller said, pointing to a lawsuit filed by Rep. Louis Gohmert, Republican Texas, against Vice President Mike Pence earlier this week to prevent him from confirming Joe Biden's electoral victory. Pence's lawyers with the Department of Justice later said Pence isn't the person who should face a lawsuit, arguing that Gohmert should have sued Congress. Well, of course, because they don't. The DOJ swamp creature central is going to say, well, he should have sued Congress. No, you sue the guy that's overseeing it. They really don't want this to happen with the lawsuit. They don't want any of this. I mean, yeah, sue the body as opposed to the individual who's running the show. That makes a lot of friggin' sense from the DOJ. Oh, they really think people are stupid. If Hawley and the other lawmakers challenge a state's electoral college votes, Trump's campaign will make their presentation. The challenge requires a senator and a representative to carry out. Yeah, well, it sounds like they're going to have that. Miller pointed to a law changes regarding mail-in ballots in Wisconsin and other states. Suitcases of ballots in Georgia being wheeled out late at night on November 3rd in Atlanta State Farm Center, and officials in Michigan and Arizona allegedly blocking them from inspecting voting systems. State election officials in those states have denied claims from the Trump team and third parties about voter fraud and irregularities. Well, of course they did. All right. Saying that it's the safest election ever because I don't want to shit to people on YouTube, the retarded, elite, who if you dare to speak wrong, think about the safest, most securest election ever. Yeah, basically, I don't want to upset them. Yeah, right. Obviously, sarcasm, right? The thing is, of course they're going to deny this. They're going to deny everything. You had shady shit going on. Do you think they want to own up to that? Or, besides that, do you think if, they had knowledge of it or allowed for it to happen or anything along those lines, do you think they want to admit that it happened? Of course not. That's what you got to love. It's like we inspected ourselves. Nothing to see here. They don't want third parties investigating this, and they're saying we was completely above board. We made sure of it. We checked ourselves, and that would be like literally taking, and putting a crackhead in charge of a narcotics room after a large crack bust. You can't trust the crackhead to make sure that crack stays in the evidence room. You can't trust politicians who think that they're better than us, that think that we should just bow down, that we should just accept the illusion of having a voice. Those people, you can't trust them to be honest and above board. It doesn't work like that. We're in the real world. Okay, let's get back to this. These are the specific types of evidence we want to present to the American people on the national stage and not allow local politicians to sweep it under the rug, Miller said on the program. Yeah, exactly. It's another thing. The legacy media can't really hide this. If they're going to be like, we're not going to cover this, that's going to make Americans that might otherwise be oblivious go, why don't they want us seeing this? And they might decide to check it out for themselves. So they're going to have to cover this and hope people just stay asleep to it. I'm guessing they're at this point, the stupidity is there. But I don't think they're that stupid where they would seriously take and not cover this. Because then they're going to draw more attention to it. It's the Streisand effect. And I don't think they're going to want the Streisand effect. And if Silicon Valley joins with them on that, that's seriously going to cause more of a Streisand effect. It's going to be like the New York Post article with Hunter Biden and his laptop of illegal deals and drug-fueled tales and child porn. It's going to be like that if they try to cover shit up. Or if they try to go nothing to see here. Miller and Trump did not elaborate on how they would present that information to Congress or whether they would be able to do so. Well, this is stuff that's going to come out. You're talking about there's like 2 hours per each contesting of the electors. So, yeah, this could be quite a bit going on here. Oh, God. The president, in making his announcement for January 6th, retweeted Hawley's post where he said that millions of Americans are concerned about election integrity and deserve to be heard. Yes. See, this is what's funny, is you've got a majority of the country at this point saying the election was shady, even though, it's the safest election ever, all this other stuff. And instead of putting their reservations and their fears and their questions and their concerns and anything else that could come up with the election, putting it to ease, we're just supposed to shut up and accept their claims. That's like shit you see in a banana republic. That's like shit you see, in the former Soviet Union and communist bloc countries. This is the type of shit you see in Cuba, in Venezuela. Seriously. It's ridiculous. Anyway, somebody has to stand up for the 74 million Americans. Stand up. Someone has to stand up. 74 million Americans are not going to be told their voices don't matter, Hawley also stated. Trump has also suggested that his supporters attend rallies and events on January 6th, including one in Washington, D.C. at 11 a.m. Yep, and Antifa was going there to start shit. So the Proud Boys decided that, all right, they want to play games. We're going to make sure that they leave Trump supporters alone. So what they're doing is they're dressing up like the little black bloc shipwrecks. They're not going to be wearing their orange and black polos and, yellow, gold and black. Why did I say orange? But gold and black polos. Wow. They're not going to be doing anything. They're going to be dressed like the little black bloc pukes. And when the little black bloc pukes start shit, they're going to get hit. Because you're going to have a lot of Trump supporters there that aren't expecting to be jumped by little shipwrecks like you see from Antifa. And you know what's funny? That's really freaking Antifa out right now. And the funny thing is if the guy has muscles, okay, he's physically fit, he's strong, and he's dressed like you and you're Antifa, that might be a clue that he ain't Antifa, because he isn't a 70-pound soy milk drinking little weasel who needs like 4 of his buddies to kick the shit out of an average-sized person. Anyway, I can only imagine what's going to happen on the 6th. Antifa's been out there. This is about intimidation and everything else. The Americans are done. They're not going to put up with that. All right, you've got people I know are going down to D.C. for the 6th. If I had the ability to go down, I'd be down there. A lot of Americans who normally, because of work and everything else, wouldn't be able to get down there or just wouldn't necessarily get that active and go down there. All right? They're going down. This is a situation where you're going to have so many people, I think, showing up that they're not going to be able to push their little bullshit. They're going to have to try to lie and twist and everything else. Anyway, I've covered this well enough. I'm going to leave things here. If you liked this video, depending on where you are watching it, please give it an upvote or thumbs up. If you want to know when new content of mine hits the internet, don't forget to subscribe to one or more of my social media or video accounts listed here. Also, with YouTube, don't forget to ring that bell. You can find all of my video content on both BitChute and YouTube. This may not be the case with other places I upload to, but I will try to minimize this happening. You are always welcome to interact with me at any of these sites on the list, so feel free to do so. If you have anything you want me to cover in a video, when it comes to news or current events, send it right along to me. I will try to do my best to cover it. As always, thank you for watching.